Hello, I'm River Jameson with the Total Integration Institute, and I felt really inspired today to address where we are right now and how we may relate to it in a way that's more empowering, energizing, and effective, and what's happening right now for us. None of us really know exactly what's going on because it's all part of the mystery of the unfolding. And the more comfortable that we can get with that, the better. So many people have talked to me, called me, written to me recently, and said that they felt like they were going through so many changes, that they felt like that things were so confusing to them in the world, that seemed like there was so much breakdown, but also all these fantastic things going on, health changes, health challenges, all sorts of things that they felt like that everything they had been going through in the last few years, 10 years, 20 years, was culminating in something right now. And I said, yes, I do think that we're at a really huge time of planetary shift, and that the frequency is changing, that the actual context on the planet is changing. I think we're getting tremendous amount of support, and there's lots of amazing, innovative things being birthed right now. And there's also a tremendous amount of breakdown, and that we're all totally aware of. But remember, it really matters where we identify. So let's talk about that some. I think that what we're going through is a contextual shift, and Diamond and I talk about that a lot, of what that contextual shift means and how we might make it. And I think that it depends on what our commitments are, where we are, and what kind of tools, practices, and support that we have, whether we're going to experience that contextual shift as something that is exciting and expansive and taking us somewhere new, or whether it's someplace that it's something that is threatening and scary and feels confusing to us. So I think what's really important is for us to understand what context that we're in and how we can relate to this contextual shift in a more empowering way. So if we relate to the breakdowns and we start immersing ourselves in the cultural media, and we spend too much time there, I think it's all right to check in, and to check in once or twice a week and what's happening now? What's the overview of how they see it, of the story that they're telling? Remembering that it's one story, it's one storyline, it's not the storyline. So that's the first thing, is for us to really individuate out different media sources, different people's storyline, from what is going on in a much bigger picture, and also what's our storyline, and to stay individuated and to recognize that any storyline's a choice and any storyline's changeable, and that we are the new storytellers, and that we can also transform any story. So it's important not to become too immersed in anyone else's story, particularly the media of a context that's breaking down, because what they're reporting on is the sensational breaking down, and we can start thinking that is the world and that's what is happening, when actually there's so much more happening than that. Some of them are really isolated incidences that are made to even appear to be more cohesive and to be something that's going on everywhere more than maybe it even is. Other things are sensationalized. There's tremendous amounts of lies, cover-ups, things that are reported certain ways that may have a completely different storyline if we knew the truth. So I think that it's important, first of all, to not over-identify with stories that do not serve us and do not serve the planet, humanity, and where we are going, and the evolutionary thrust of what's happening for us. Because this is actually also can be a very, very exciting time depending on where we identify. So I like to have a global overview of the currents in the world, of major happenings politically, or breakdowns, breakthroughs, and then also definitely be in touch with all the amazing things that are happening and all the beautiful innovations, all the beautiful new ideas that people have. I was just watching something yesterday about a teenager developing a technology that's now going to be put in use for cleaning the plastic out of the ocean in a way that's really easier and less technological and more powerful than I think a lot of people thought was possible, and sooner than what people thought were possible. But what was really great, it was only one of three ways of cleaning the plastic that I've been exposed to in 2 weeks. And that was such an exciting thing. It was just one resolution among so many about one particular issue and problem called plastic. So this is the way it is about everything now, though, is that there's breakdown, but there's breakthroughs that we might not even know about. And so be sure to pay attention to also what is happening that's great, that's innovative, that's leading edge, because that is going to be what really feeds you and what gives you a feeling of what's coming in newly. And that's even more important than the reportings on the breakdown of the old context by cultural media, because there's so much control there. And what we want to do is what are people doing in the world that are the innovators, there are creators. And there's a lot of times inventors, artists, musicians, people in research that are on the leading edge of what's coming now, that are just doing their work. And they're very focused on their area. But when you start getting exposed to the fact that there's resolution being birthed in so many different areas of life and on so many different levels of the planet, that there are people doing work with the animals that are just really extraordinary and incredible, with the oceans, with the environment, with new medical technologies that are very aligned with some of the traditional natural medicine, where there's really no conflict anymore. I think that there's going to be such an explosion on so many levels here in the next few years that we're going to really be amazed and delighted if we stay tuned in to innovation and to evolution. And so that means if we're going to be aware of that, then where we are matters and makes all the difference. So it really is important now, where are we? What is our state? What context do we live in? And we can become too mired, and I've talked to a few people who were so bogged down in conspiracy theories, and I felt like that they were spending so much time preoccupied in their minds on conspiracy theories, and whether those conspiracy theories were true or not true, or what really happened 3 years ago or 5 years ago, or and what does it mean now, and are certain things real or not real. And I think it's great to ask the questions, because we're not always told the truth, or about denial context doesn't want the public to necessarily know what's really happening. But I think that we're better informed about what's really happening by going deep and by listening to ourselves and trusting ourselves from a really deep level than we are preoccupying too much about conspiracy theories. Because the real truth is a lot of the conspiracy theories we're never going to be able to necessarily prove whether they're 100% true or 100% not true for maybe some time. So we can either be bogged down and preoccupied in all of that really intensively, or we can liberate ourselves and put our energy towards the total liberation of ourselves, our own impeccability, our own presence, our own consciousness, our own actions, our own sobriety, and that just full being presence of us moving with the truth moment by moment, right here, right now, while keeping our fingers on the pulse of that innovation, of the new things that are emerging, of being educated about our world in that way, of how is it moving, because where we're going is even more important than where we've been. And because there's new possibilities now that have never existed before and are really not particularly connected to the past, because there's such abrupt quantum leaps in how we think or how we see or what is possible for us as human beings. So I think that that's really important. And then the other thing is, I think it's important to be contributing. And your contribution has to be your own unique contribution. And to not compare yourself to other people right now, to not get bogged down in self-rejection because you're not doing some majorly global, in your mind, global changing experience, that what you are and where you are and what context you're living in is a frequency that is transmitted to the entire universe. And to remember that you have effect in everything that you choose. And it doesn't matter if nobody knows it or not, just who you are and what frequency you're at and how true you're being to the very essence of who you really are is having a major effect right now. And so bring yourself from being too heady about all of it, about figuring out conspiracy theories, to what can I do right now in my home, in my body, in my consciousness, in my family, in my community, of what's mine to do. And you're going to have to go inside and feel yourself enough and get healthy enough, strong enough, well enough to tune into yourself and to feel that truth for you. And where are you inspired? Because there may be inspirations that you're not listening to or you're pushing away for later while being distracted and preoccupied, that may really actually be the divine talking to you at such a deep level, and that you need to really be listening to that right now, of how are you being instructed, how are you being moved. And we need to be clear on our motivation. Is our motivation out of the highest states that we're in, of love, when we feel clear and grounded, when we've come out of our meditations, when we are we meditating? Are we spending time listening and listening deeply? And then what is that? And to ask ourselves constantly, is it a path of heart? Is it a path of love? And to know that if it doesn't result in that, if it doesn't produce more well-being, more health and sanity and love in our lives and the lives of everyone involved, then it probably isn't the truth. And we need to go deeper. We need to let go more. We need to open our hearts more so that we can really start singing our heart song and getting in that flow of coming from deep inside of us, of what we're being inspired to be, first of all, because the being comes first, of what context are we in, what frequency are we at, and then from that, what inspired actions to take that build power and love and energy for us and for everybody involved, and that makes the world a saner, healthier place for all of life, for all species, all genders, all races, all people, all life, all of the planet. There's some people who are working with animals right now, and it's like they're doing profound work, and it's so necessary because there's a lot of the animals are under serious attack on the planet, and if we're going to have animal brothers and sisters on the planet, we need to stand for them. There are people that need our support, that need our education, that need a hand to be reached out and even to be understood. There is tremendous amounts to do in the human world. There's also tremendous amounts to do in the natural world of the environment, of the ecology. There's places to be touched in every single aspect of life. New health innovations, like I was saying. So what's your thing? What's your passion? What's yours to do? And then do it. And a friend the other day said something that I thought was really great. And she said, it's starting to be such a significant, powerful point on the earth that we need to look at if a next generation asked us in our elder years, what did you do during that time? What did you do? Are we going to be really happy with what we said? Are we going to feel a certain kind of peace? Are we going to leave a legacy that feels good to us, that feels satisfying? Like, yes, we did what we could do, and we did what we did best, and we really listened, and we listened to our hearts and our wills and our bodies and our spirits and to all of ourselves, and we move forward with as much truth and grace and love and passion and beauty as we possibly could. And is that what we're going to do? Is that what we're going to say? And the other thing we talked about that I thought was great was that, what are you going to feel like? Darn, it was like that was one of the most important things that I knew that I had to do in my life, and I never did it. Are you going to leave here with that feeling that you didn't fulfill something that you were really being called to? So this isn't a time for fence sitting. I don't think that fence sitting is what's happening anymore. I don't think that any of us are going to be allowed in this time to be observers and to just be here watching. I think that it's time to jump into life, and that can look so many different ways. There's not any rules about that, and please don't let other people dictate what those rules are to you. It's about going deep again and feeling your inspiration and how you're being guided in your clearest, sanest, most loving states of consciousness and being, and then really following through. In order to do that, it also always comes back to, are we having an integral life? Are we bringing all parts of ourselves along? And remember that that's so important, because if we are leaving an aspect of ourselves out, that's going to be the part of ourselves that tends to sabotage us. If we're somebody who's sacrificing our health and we're not taking care of our health, then our health can show up right now, especially right now. And there's reasons why, like some of the viruses are getting stronger than they were before, and we need to have strong immune systems. The other thing is that when we don't take care of our bodies, that breakdowns show up when we're not giving them what they really want and need. And if we don't have health, it's really difficult to contribute, because then we become obsessed with just our own lack of well-being, and rightfully so sometimes, that we just need to take back up and take care of ourselves. So if there's things you haven't been paying attention to that need attention, and it can be anywhere from some dental work to the fact that your digestion hasn't been all the way, to whatever it is, to a serious health challenge, to just feeling like not as much energy as you could have, pay attention to it, get help, get support, get overview, and particularly from people who are really doing well at integrating the alternative medicine with sort of the latest and leading allopathic stuff like neuroplasticity and some of the understandings of epigenetics and things like that. So taking the leading edge with the traditional shamanic and earth medicines, and really taking the best of that integration and of both, and healing ourselves. And a lot of what people need these days is sleep and getting rested and eating really clean, good food and drinking good, clean water. And those three things alone can make such a huge difference in your life if you're willing to do that. And then also just paying attention to your body and to what your body's telling you. And it's going to be hard to really allow the beauty of our manifested world to come in all the way if you're not paying attention to your own manifestation. And let's remember that our bodies are our first manifestation, and the rest of our manifestation is going to reflect our own relationship to our bodies. The other thing is our homes, is that our homes, are they in order, of bringing cleanliness and order and organization to our homes, of letting go of the stuff that's not ours, giving it away to somebody who could really use it, of letting go of excessive stuff and allowing ourselves to create temples, to create our homes as healing places. I think this is so important, that this is again at nucleus. Are we talking about some conspiracy theory while the frequency in our own home is not contributing to the well-being of ourselves or other people? So creating healing spaces, and it can be so humble. I don't care if you live in a dirt floor hut or a teepee or a small humble apartment or a grand mansion. It can be a healing temple for people and for yourself and your family. And so it's each of our responsibilities to create that frequency in our lives, in our bodies, in our homes, and to create, if you have the space, to create healing gardens that produce food, or gardens that produce beautiful healing space for meditation, for healing, for contemplation. It's like to put our energy towards creating that which is new. And it's important also to be aware of creating community and creating beautiful relationships, creating relationships that enliven you with people, of when you talk to them, that they lift you up and you lift them up. And to not spend time with people who are dragging you down, bringing you down, or who you're codependent with and who you feel like you're having to drag along. It's not time for that. If we use our energy to drag people along who are resisting, who don't want to go, it's going to just drain our energy and their energy. By letting them go and letting them have their freedom, the same freedom you want, and putting your energy to your own impeccability and your own direction, and to doing what you can do, and to supporting people who really want to take that next leap in evolution, who want to get healthier, saner, more loving, who want to open their hearts, and who are willing to do the work, the deep work that's required. To put energy there is really where to put the energy, okay? Because that's going to be what makes the most difference for all of us. The other thing I think is our creativity, is to really open our creativity, and not to not to judge your own creativity. That I think that there's so many people I know who are healing because they are moving, they're dancing, they're breathing, they're creating art, they're singing, and that they're allowing themselves to move their energy freely and in creative ways, in ways that produce beauty, that produce a sense of aliveness, a sense of joy and delight. And bringing that into the world is as important as anything. So if you're an artist, for instance, or a dancer or a singer, or anybody who's creating, a videographer, anybody who's creating images in the world, let's make sure that those are images that are going to uplift, inspire, and heal our planet right now and inform, and that we're doing something that really makes a difference. I think that it's fine to have fun. In fact, it's important to have fun right now and bring fun and delight. Let's just have it be really sober, real fun that's not at the expense of anybody and that's not draining our energy and draining our power. There are some things that people are preoccupied with right now that I think it's doubtful the value of it. So is what I'm involved in, does it add value, even if it's that it brings true joy and true delight to myself and other people? That's important too. It's important to not be overly serious all the time. We need laughter. We need joy in our lives. And at the same time, we need it to be based in a very sober consciousness of us being connected to our source, to the universe, to the multiverse, and of knowing that we are life, that we are love, that we are who we are at true essence, and to not lose connection with that essence and the support that we have there, or that we can give there, is to be in that giving and receiving flow with the universe and with the multiverse that allows us to be nurtured and to continue to be in that flow and to give to others as well and to lift others up. So this can be a really exciting time, and it's also a sobering time. There's no doubt about it. And if you feel at times that you need to just cry or feel or just let it all out, and you've taken too much of the breakdown in the world in and you're starting to mull around about it, and you're starting to contract, then that's time to let it all go. Go out in nature. Nature is a sanity producer. And so go out in nature. Get on the earth. Put your bodies on the earth regularly. It's like, I think it's so important to get your body on the earth, in earth frequency regularly, because the earth is going to keep informing us about what's real, what's true, what's sane, and what is really needed and not needed, what's really important and not important. And so it's time to let go, and you know where you're indulging. You know what habits you have that really could go. It's like, let them go now. Get out on the earth, ask for support, pray, sing, dance, breathe, open yourself up, and then sit down and meditate and really listen to your guidance and to how to let go of what no longer serves you or this planet, and how to bring in something that is really aligned with the new frequency and with love and with well-being. So those are some things that I have to say right now, and I intend that it's supporting you, because I think that everybody needs support right now, and we all need to support each other and keep lifting ourselves up and lifting each other up and reminding ourselves of what's really important and what's not, and to have relationships that are real, develop community, even global community. And some of the beautiful things about social media is that it's allowing us to connect with people all around the world. And I think that's really beautiful. But don't spend so much time in social media that your reality becomes virtual and you forget to connect with the real of your life in every moment that's going on with your body, your people, your place on the earth right here, your community right now. So there's some times for that social media that can be very effective and uplifting, that sometimes people feel really uplifted by the relationships that they develop there. But don't spend time in anything there that feels like it's an energy drain. Don't use it for that. That's not really what it's for. It's there for us to be able to connect to the global awareness and to the global network, so that we can support and be supported, and we can move together into a new era on our planet that that works for all of life. And again, let's all have that commitment that we're creating a context that is based on love and truth and beauty and health and sanity and well-being and sustainable abundance. There's not anything wrong with abundance, but it has to be based on a sufficiency not on lacking, but on a sufficiency of knowing that we are sufficient inside of ourselves, that we are enough. And that then you're going to really choose to expand into a kind of sustainable abundance that feels like you have everything you want and need, but it's based on true wants and needs, and it's based on what's your appropriate form and time and place and relationship to things right now, and what's going to really serve. And also that it's a sustainable abundance for our planet and for animals and for people and for all of life. Does this sustain it? I love a designer I know that when they design things like furniture, they ask, is this going to be sustainable for the next 7 generations, the sofa that we're making? Okay, so let's ask that about the context we're creating, about everything that we're creating. Is this a sustainable kind of an abundance? Human beings are creative. It's all right to create. We don't all have to be like super minimalist, even though minimalism is appropriate at times and beautiful at times. We're also very creative beings. Let's just make sure what we're creating is aligned and pertinent with what's needed and what actually produces this new context that we're talking about. And keep checking in with what context am I in? Because remember that the outcome is always going to reflect the context. So I think that's enough for today. And if you need tools, if you need support, then be sure to get them. And one of the things that my husband Diamond and my partner Summer and our team has been doing for so many years is developing tools and processes and direct experiences that give people reference points, that empower people. And so right now you may need some empowerment, and reach out and get it. And there's going to be so many things showing up on our website of ways that you can participate, of blogs, of things that you can, where you can get information, lectures, and also come see us in person in Mexico and take that journey if it's yours to take. But get support, and get support in your community as well. Okay, love to everybody, and may everybody be enlightened now, and may we come into the fullness of what's possible now as we shift context and create a new context for living. Thank you very much.
Hello, this is Diamond. To receive more talks, videos, and online programs, go to our website and sign up at the bottom of the page. When you sign up, you'll also immediately be given a free 1-hour training. If possible, we invite you to pass this video forward to your conscious network. Thank you.